Today I'm going to speak about the times we are in and where I want to speak about where I think we're at. And it's going to be a somber message and a reality check for a lot of us. When I was first born again, or early days of my conversion, God told me it was the 11th hour. Back then, that was 3.5 years ago. And we are definitely in a time of seriousness. And it's never not a time of seriousness, because if you technically speaking, everybody is in their last days, because whether or not it's actually the last days, each and every one of us could die tomorrow. God placed it on my heart that we're in the last hour, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. Now, no one knows the time when Jesus will come back, but we can make estimations. We can look at the times and know the signs of them. And in the Bible, it says that 1,000 years are a day to the Lord, and a day to the Lord is 1,000 years. So I took that literally. And what I did is I divided 1,000 by how many hours are in a day. If a day is 1,000 years to the Lord. And it equals 41. So 41 years, or 41.66666 is 1 hour. 41 years, 0.5 basically, is 1 hour. In an eternal perspective, I think. Now, how far we are into that hour, I have no idea. It could have started in 2000. It could have started in 2020. It could have started in 1990. I don't know, but we are in the last hour, guys. That could mean 40 years, that could mean 20 years, that could mean 5 years. Now, Jesus says in the Gospels, his coming will be, let's quote it, for the coming of the Son of the Man will be just like the days of Noah. We are living in the days of Noah. People wonder what the days of Noah are like. We are living in it. Look around. It says in Genesis, in the days of Noah, God looked down on the earth, and the thoughts and intent of the heart of man was only evil continually. And isn't that the truth? Look at yourself. Look at those around you. We are in a constant state, or the only desire and motivation people have is how to fulfill their fleshy, carnal nature. Everyone's goals and purpose in life, for the most part right now, is just how to get off. If you really break it down. And our thoughts are just like, what can I do in order to achieve that? I'm serious. Just take a look at yourself. Whatever your proclivity is, whatever your deep, dark desires are, your life will be based around trying to achieve how you can get the most of that before you die. That's pretty much the motivations and goals of every person. It also says in the days of Noah, the world was filled with violence, and we are filled with violence. Wars everywhere. Conflicts everywhere. Violence is glorified. UFC, boxing. People love it when people are in fights. We're just like, it's just violence everywhere. The amount of violence that happens in the dark, in secret places, you would be astonished. Sacrifices. People will do horrible things to fulfill their desires. And people always look at P. Diddy. And I say this in my other video. Oh my gosh, how horrible is he? Guys, he is just a living example of what any one of us would be like if we were given his level of luxury, time and money and resources by living by the flesh. He's just a perfect manifestation of carnal nature walking around, given every opportunity to serve the flesh. Every one of us would do the same, and most do the same because they watch pornography every day. Do you feel what I'm saying? The heart of man is continually wicked, and I notice this, not just people in the world, by the way, born again believers too. I noticed this like 3-4 months ago. I'm like, man, my thoughts are atrocious. It wasn't until I did tongues for 7 hours a day for a month that my thought life really, really, really cleared up. I was already walking in the spirit, but I had to stave off my flesh nature. Now it's way more subdued, and because the stuff actually came out of me. Our priority right now should not be anything but trying to get sanctified and purified to the utmost possibility we can do, and try and live a holy life to safeguard us from going back to the world. Now you may say, you're saved by grace. Yes, you are. And what Jesus did on the cross is sufficient for salvation, and his blood cleanses us and we are forgiven of our sins. 100%. That's not the danger. The danger is, because Paul says in the Bible, he says there will be a great falling away in the last days, right? So just like Noah, we have to, as Christians, build an ark. You might say, how do I build an ark? What do I do in the days of Noah? You got to understand everything in the Old Covenant, the Old Testament, that was physical in nature, there's a representation of it now, but it's spiritual in nature. We don't physically build an ark. What this means is the only wisdom a man should have right now is, one, how to be born again and surrender to Christ and accept his free gift of salvation. That's the first thing. If you haven't done that, you need to do that right now. You don't have time. There's no time to be like, oh, I want to be famous, or I want to make all this money, or I want to get like 5 girlfriends, or I want to have a mansion, I want to pursue a career, I want to do all these different things. Your priorities are completely off if you're like that. Listen to me. Nothing is promised. You could die tomorrow. But furthermore, we are in a current time where the wickedness is at such a high level that in order to come out of that wickedness and get Egypt out of you and be fully delivered is staggering. You need to start the sanctification process now, no matter how old you are, because the things that you've been exposed to are just like on another level, how damaging they are to the soul. And trust me, I know from experience, coming out of a level of darkness that I was in, it's taken a long time to reprogram my mind, to walk in sanctification, to walk in another level of holiness. I've still got issues, right? So you need to start that process now. Your priority should be to surrender to Christ. The next piece of wisdom a human needs to have is how to not fall away from Jesus. That's the only thing you need to know. There's the two things you need to look at yourself with. Am I surrendered to Jesus? And if so, how do I stop myself from falling away? Because God's salvation is sufficient. That's not the issue. The issue is, will the world lure you away from God? And in our current generation, the enticement and lure of the world is so strong because it's in our faces every second of the day. You combine that with the impulses and demonic flesh nature that you carry around with you, it is a difficult task to stay away from that and not be wrapped up in the world. There's many Christians who are, listen, if you don't have a word life, a prayer life, a fasting life, you are already in the process of falling away from God. It's not that his salvation isn't sufficient. It's that you're not pressing in to him enough to walk in the Spirit and walk above it all. You need to be walking on water in this current time. I'm serious. And I know this from personal experience because I'll go in and out of hardcore times of prayer, fasting, consecration, okay? The last month, I've been doing 1 hour, 2 hours of Bible time prayer life, okay? Word life prayer, mixing it all up. Doing a lot of videos, so I haven't had much time, okay? And I've noticed the world's starting to creep back in. Just my priorities have shifted. I'm like, oh, I'm just interested in sports a bit more. Oh, why don't I have a wife? Oh, no. Thinking about transient things that aren't going to matter in the end. We've got to understand none of these things matter actually on an eternal level. Everything is so transient. You get off today and you don't get off the next day. You enjoy yourself one day, you feel down the next. It's like you pursue your dream, but it's also fleeting. It means nothing, guys. Your pursuit of your career, what does it mean in the end? And right now, because we live in such an end times generation, the pursuit of these things is really meaningless. Like it really is. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter in the end. And Jesus says, for as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. What does that sound like? The people in Noah's day were getting off, having a party, jolly good time, playing video games, watching Netflix, finding a girlfriend, settling down, getting married, starting a business, having fun on the weekends. Oh, positivity. Just like everybody. They had no idea that in the same hour that the flood hit the earth, people were getting married. People were going to uni. People were imagining their career paths. People were planning for their retirement. Guys, it's all nonsense. It means nothing. Besides that, you could die at any moment and be cast into hell. Like your eternity is waiting. It's just waiting. You know, the whole point of the worldly agenda is just to keep you distracted from the things of God until you die. It's like blind people just walking off the edge of a cliff with a blindfold over their face every single day, every minute of the day. You know that feeling inside you, like everything is like, what is this all supposed to be? I've always had that. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I used to look at the world and think of all these different career pursuits and going after things. And at the end of the day, I was like, it's all pointless. And it is. And I was right back then. And I'm still right today. It's pointless, guys. I had a friend come up yesterday and we're having a chat about this stuff. We were talking about the transience of the earth. And he was saying the same thing. He's like, man, it's just all like, there's no point. And I happened to be in a whole lot of prayer when he came up, and he's saying like, you know, most people would think that you're crazy for just praying all day in a room. They're like, why aren't you getting a career? Why aren't you doing that? You know, why aren't you trying to establish your life? You're just praying in a room and singing to God. And I laughed and I'm like, yeah, I'm blessed to have this time right now. I'm blessed. And it's the same as the days of Noah. People will laugh at you for not pursuing a career. People will laugh at you for not wanting to get married. People will laugh at you for not setting up a whatever, doing the things to set up, you know, a retirement fund. People will laugh at you for not doing all these things. I'm not saying don't do these things, but I'm saying that everybody's priorities are wrong. Because at the end of the day, all of that stuff fades away. We all need to build an ark. And what an ark means is building a prayer life, a word life, a fasting life, mechanisms where you can stay close to God and walk in the Spirit and be above it all. Because to keep your head above the currents of the world is what you need to work out how to do. That's how you work out your salvation with fear and trembling. It's not that the work of the cross is insufficient. What Jesus did allowed us to be set free from all of this stuff. We have to work out how to get Egypt out of us. Okay? That means pressing into God on another level. That means really pursuing sanctification, trying to walk in holiness. Holiness is a safeguard from going back to the world, because it doesn't take long for the currents of the world to interact with your flesh and for you to be drawn away. Guys, it doesn't take much. With what we're exposed to on our phones and the news and the narratives and the Netflix and the people around you and the agendas, it is such a strong pull that it doesn't take much for you to be like, I'll fall away this week and I won't pray much, I won't read my word, I'll be reprogrammed by the world, and before you know it, you just forget believing in Christ. That's the danger. It's not what Christ did is not sufficient. The danger is, are you going to stay in the faith until the end? And that is the ark. So you've got to work out how to do that. You've got to have boundaries with yourself. You've got to not see people who don't believe in what you believe if it draws you away from Jesus. You need to cut them off. You need to, I'm not joking, cut them off if it affects your spiritual life. You need to work out how to have a consistent word life, have a consistent prayer life. Listen, last month, like I said, I was down to like 1 hour of prayer a day, 1 hour of Bible time. And the world started creeping in again. My attention was getting drawn away from Jesus, even though I'm doing videos and all of this stuff, okay? Lately, I've gone into a new level of consecration. I'm doing something, I'm going on another prayer journey, okay? Kind of like the one where I did 7 hours of tongues a day. I'll talk about it after I finish. But what I've noticed already is my whole disposition's changed again. I'm like, hang on a second. The reminder of how transient everything is and my priorities have shifted back to spiritual focus. Paul also talks about this present evil age. It struck me the other day, or today actually, how evil and depraved the world actually is. And it's easy to forget that and be like, everything's all good, it's fine. And people are just distracting themselves to not deal with the gravity of the eternal question because it's uncomfortable. But I'm here to tell you that when you're really in the presence of God for a long time, you come out of that and you walk around and you're like, wow, everything's corrupt. And you start seeing the contrast. And I'm telling you what, it's not worth it. The world's not worth it. There's nothing there. It's all fake. It's all an illusion. Chasing women, trying to get more of this, trying to do that, trying to get off today. The next day, you're trying to do it again. Oh, I'll build a huge business. I'll build an empire. And at the end of it, I'll just die and leave it to someone else. It's all meaningless. You only have a certain amount of time on this earth. You have to build an ark. You have to build an ark. That means build a consecration, build a lifestyle of consecration, prayer, the word, fasting, whatever you have to do that gets you walking in the spirit with these things. If it's a fasting lifestyle of 1-2 days a week, awesome. If you need to go on a hardcore year of fasting, do it. Don't listen to what your pastor says. Don't only fast when the church says to. Oh, we'll fast Facebook this week. It's a joke. Fast food, do it for real. Get Egypt out of you. You don't need to pray a long time. Pray a long time. Be in God's presence as much as you can in your personal life. Set aside time. If you're watching Netflix and wasting time on YouTube, cut it out and start building up a prayer life. I know from experience, it quickly draws you away. Anything can become an idol. Our priority has to be the presence of God, especially the presence of God. Tongues will build you up in the faith and allow a major purification thing to happen. Awesome. Same with fasting, same with the word. Worship will get you in the presence of God and it changes you so quickly. I don't know, do them all. You've got to work it out. You've got to build your ark. You've got to build your ark. That means a spiritual life where you can float above the currents of the world. That's what this is. We are already in a flood. The flood of depravity that's everywhere. You've got to live above the flesh realm. You just have to. It's the only way. And that's what Jesus provided a way to do. If we don't take advantage of that, we lack wisdom. Paul says if we neglect such a greater salvation, like seriously, we can neglect our salvation. We can choose to fall away by entertaining the world and the things of the flesh. We have to make a decision. And I'm telling you what, when you're in the flesh realm, and I know from experience, when you're being led more by your flesh, when you want to satiate your flesh more, gratify it, it's very difficult to entertain the things of the spirit. You're just like, nah, all I want is some worldly thing. Just go into a 3-day fast to break this spell, it's almost like a spell, or just do like 7 hours of worship or something, and you'll walk in a different realm and everything will shift, and you'll be like, oh, that's right, and your priorities will change back to the things of the spirit. That's all you have to do if you're falling away like that, because you are in the process of falling away if you do not have a word life, a prayer life, a worship life, fasting life, fellowship life. And even with the fellowship life, I'm going to keep it real. Make sure they're real Christians. Make sure they're people who are really about it. Because I'm here to tell you, many Christians are worldly. Many professing Christians are in their flesh. A lot of their priorities are wrong, debating all these semi-important doctrines and blah, blah, blah. You know what? The main point and priority should be of every Christian is how to build a spiritual life. That's it. That's it. Press into the things of God. Get purified as much as possible. Build an ark so you don't get carried away by the currents of the world. Even conspiracy theories, even all these, channels on YouTube about exposing the darkness. Yeah, it's all good. But at the end of the day, guys, we live in a fallen world. and there's darkness everywhere. The more important priority for you to grasp is to how to walk above it, not just entertain it. You stare at the darkness long enough, it will start to stare back at you. Conspiracy theories and left, right, and political agendas and all this stuff is a distraction. It's a distraction, guys. Pray, word, worship, fast, fellowship. Do those 5 things consistently. Get Egypt out of you. Get the demons out of your flesh. Learn to walk in consecration. Cut off anybody who is not really about this walk, even if they say they're Christian. Go the extra level with your spiritual practice. We are saved by grace, yes, but you have to work out how to not fall away from the faith. That's how you work out your salvation with fear and trembling. You need boundaries, you need a spiritual discipline, you need to cut off the things of the world, as innocent as they seem, and you need to get serious about your spiritual life and build an ark to float above the currents of the world. We are in the days of Noah. We are in the last days. Facts. I know it for sure. I just don't know the date because no one does. So anyone claiming they know the rapture and the date of it is once again a distraction. It's not the point. If you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix doing nothing about your spiritual life and you're sitting there waiting for the rapture, you need a reality check. You need to learn how to walk above the things of the world first. So I would not be waiting for the rapture. If you're lukewarm, if you're not prepared spiritually and you're waiting for the rapture, just sitting around, oh, Jesus come back, and you're just in depravity, I would not be wanting the rapture to come so quickly. Sobering. It's not about when the rapture happens and when it doesn't. Yes, we are in the last days. The urgency is, can I get purified and sanctified? Can I start walking in holiness? Can I start being useful for the kingdom of God? They're the priorities. Build an ark, a spiritual ark. If you don't have that yet, you are in danger of falling away when things get even worse. We are in the days of Noah, guys. The coming of a son of man will be just like the days of Noah, just like. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. That's just like they were just doing all the things we normally do, not thinking anything of it, and then boom, destruction. It'll be the same when Jesus comes back. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. They didn't understand this stuff, and then the flood came and took them. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then there will be 2 men in the field, one will be taken and one will be left. It won't be floods this time, it'll be fire and the horrors that are listed in Revelation. If you're not, I'm telling you, bro, you will have people laugh at you for not pursuing career. Whatever state you're in, it doesn't really matter what you're doing in life. The priority is, how can I put time aside to press into the things of God? That's the most important thing. What you do in this world, whether it's a forklift driver, whether you drive trucks, whether you're a millionaire, whether you're a stockbroker, it doesn't matter. It matters, am I pressing into the things of God or not? Whether you're just a family man, all of that. Paul says, even if you're married, live like you're not. What does he mean? Don't get swallowed up in the things of the world. Pleasing your wife, trying to be the perfect husband. Yes, there are protocols to how to live a married life, yes, but your priority has to be living a spiritual life. That's the only thing to focus on. I'm serious. None of this other stuff matters, guys. Especially now in the generation we're in. The evil is too ramped up. It's like, he says, there's signs and wonders that could even possibly deceive the elect, if possible. Meaning that the delusion, the falsehood, the depravity, the lust, the alluringness of the world is so strong in the last days that most will be swept away with the current of it. This is why you have to build an ark to live above the currents of the world. If it means deleting Facebook, YouTube, if you've got a problem with serious internet addiction and you're watching worldly stuff all the time, you might need to cut it off. Jesus says, cut off your hand, gouge out your eye if it causes you to sin. He means cut off anything that's causing you to go back to the world. Friends causing you to go back to the world, cut them off right now. Build a life. I'm blessed enough to have time and a space where I can build a spiritual life. God has blessed me and I thank him every day. And people think I'm crazy and strange for being in the wilderness praying, being in the wilderness, reading the word, singing all day to God, going out in the streets and talking to people about Jesus, casting demons out of people. Even the church thinks I'm crazy. But I know what this is. You got to build a spiritual ark. I know I have to have parameters and spiritual disciplines in place. Otherwise, my flesh will start to pull me back to the world. You've got to overcome your flesh and walk in the spirit is half the battle. That is the ark. Walking in the spirit is the ark to stay above the currents of the flesh and the currents of the world. If you don't learn how to do that, you will have a very difficult time and possibly fall away from the faith. I'm just keeping it real. I know it. The alluring nature of the world is too strong. It doesn't take long. It takes a week off the word. It takes a week out of prayer, watching the wrong things on the internet before you're like, oh, you want to entertain the wrong things again. And it starts warping your mind and you start getting reprogrammed by the world again. Your priority has to be to build a prayer life. Your priority has to be to build a word life. Just keep reading it. Just read the word. All the time that you waste watching Netflix, all the time that you waste watching nonsense, going out with friends, talking nonsense, chit chatter, gossip. If you sunk all that time into the word or prayer, you'll be doing well. This is just my advice and what I've lived through myself. We are living in dark last days times and churches are acting like everything's getting better. It's not. There's no promise in the Bible of that. When Jesus comes back, things will be dire. And we are already living in a spiritually speaking, everything is depraved. It's bad out there. Build an ark.